First, let's be clear. Racial division in America wasn't an accident. It was engineered. The historical tension between different racial groups, particularly between poor whites and black communities, wasn't a natural outcome of cultural differences. It was an intentional strategy of the ruling elite, dating back to the earliest days of American slavery and indentured servitude. In the 1600s, enslaved Africans and indentured Irish laborers worked side by side, suffering under the same brutal conditions. They lived together, fought together, and, most importantly, began to recognize a shared enemy: the wealthy landowners who owned both their bodies and their futures. These elites saw the potential for unity among the oppressed, and they feared it, because when the poor join forces, they become unstoppable. So what did the ruling class do? They engineered a divide. Laws were passed that granted small privileges to poor whites, not out of generosity, but as a deliberate tactic to create a psychological wedge between them and black slaves. Over time, these policies mutated into a full-scale social hierarchy, one that convinced struggling whites to align themselves with the very elites who were exploiting them, rather than with their fellow oppressed. And here's the hard truth: this strategy never ended. Today, the economic system still thrives on division. The rich have manufactured new battle lines: race, gender, religion, political party, keeping us so busy fighting each other that we don't see who's really pulling the strings. Think about it. Who benefits when poor whites, poor blacks, poor Latinos, and struggling immigrants turn against each other? Who profits when working-class people blame their neighbor instead of the billionaire shipping jobs overseas? Who wins when people fight over crumbs while corporations hoard entire feasts? The same wealthy elites who used race as a tool to prevent unity in the 1600s are using economic instability, media propaganda, and political polarization to do the same today. The playbook hasn't changed, only the tactics have evolved. So here's the challenge. Let's stop playing their game. Let's recognize that the divisions we've been taught to uphold are illusions designed to keep us weak. Imagine what happens when the poor and working class, across every race, stand together. When we stop fighting each other and start fighting the system, that's when real change happens. That's when power shifts. That's when we, the people, reclaim what's been stolen from us. The revolution they fear most isn't one of race, it's one of unity.